We have no problem with the first wife, and secondly, we want to do justice with the both wives, but we want to keep it a secret, but so that the first wife doesn't get annoyed or something.
Well, asked the question that if a person who's married wants to marry a second wife, can he keep it secret from the first wife? The first wife is good. And he says that he'll do justice. According to me, it's not possible to do justice between both the wives by keeping it a secret. So, for example, you want to go out, no, I'm going for business. You're going with the second wife. You'll tell so many lies. So, according to me, if you keep it a secret from the first wife, you can't do justice. You'll tell so many lies. So many harams you'll do. And neither will do justice. So, best is explain to your wife. Taking permission of the first wife is not compulsory until she puts a condition in the Nikah-nama. You can tell her, this is the requirement. Whatever reasons, maybe you require one more wife, you're very good, or whatever it is, the best is to convey the message. Permission is not required, permission is preferable according to me. But informing is further according to me. Further why? Because if you don't inform, you'll tell 10 lies. कहाँ जा रहे भाई? बिजनेस के लिए जा रहे? हाँ भाई ये भी बिजनेस ही है भाई. तो मैं झूठ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. You understand ना? So best is that you inform and explain to her. Fine, she may feel a little bit bad. And no woman would like sharing the husband. You have to agree with that. No woman would like to share the husband. But the Islamic ruling says, it is preferable to take a small loss to prevent a big loss. A good Muslimah would not mind sharing the husband to prevent the other Muslimah from getting into public property, as you hear man say. So good pious Muslimah would not prevent the husband from marrying a second. She may not like her, but yet she will not prevent. And normally when you ask, there may be various requirements. Fine, maybe a husband will satisfy one wife, she may be very good, he may want second. But a wife would prefer her doing illicit sex than marrying second. Because she's not a good Muslim. If good Muslim, zarvat hai, jaldi karo. I'm not happy, but jaldi karo. So best is to be open, inform. Maybe she rejected, give her time, no problem. But I feel best is to inform, convince her, the requirement is there. Convince to look after her better. Possible, why not? First I'll give 2 hours and I will give 2.5 hours a day. I'll give her also 2.5 hours. The managing will be difficult, but so I feel permission is preferable. Informing is, I feel, more preferable. First, I will not say because it becomes the fatwa, but you should say, so that you can do justice and it will be easy for you to do justice between both sides. Yes, brother. MashaAllah. All married people asking last. Yes, brother.
Can a wife use perfume when in confinement with her husband?
Can the wife use perfume confined with the husband as long as difference of opinion is that perfume contains alcohol? If you have the view that perfume should not contain alcohol, then she can use perfume when you are there. The difference is that can you wear perfume wearing alcohol is a different question. But if that thing is solved, that she puts the perfume without having alcohol, in front of you there is no problem at all. There are scholars who say that wearing perfume is gathering, the mixed gathering and also, but natural, I mean, attracting the opposite sex. But for you, no problem. Husband, wife, what you like, you tell her, no problem, no restrictions, as long as closed doors. Fine? No problem, what you want, you can be free. Islam permits you. Outside the hijab is there. Inside, no problem, whatever dress you want, no problem, whatever dress she wants, no problem. Perfume, no problem. Makeup, no problem. But makeup with other men is difficult, problem. You like makeup, I makeup. Don't like, say don't like. Fine? So within, no problem. Whatever attracts, you should tell her. Whatever she finds attractive, she should tell. Freedom should be there. Hope that answers the question. Yeah, brother, last question before we end the session.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I would like to know what are the sayings, rulings for muta marriage.
What are the rulings for muta marriage? You ask me a question, what is the ruling for having alcohol? The ruling for alcohol is that if your life is a ninja, you can have, right? But there's nothing like what is the ruling for muta marriage. There's nothing like muta marriage in Islam. It was there before Islam was there. It was common in the Arab custom. People did practice it when the Prophet was alive. During the Battle of Tabuk, the Prophet put a band and said that muta marriage is haram. Muta means temporary marriage. Nothing like temporary marriage. Marriage should be permanent. Then if it breaks, it's up to Allah. You can't have a contract and marry you for one night or 1 week or 1 month. It's haram in Islam. Muta is totally haram. Hope that's the question. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother, my question is, if a husband has sex with his wife against her wishes, so does it be considered as if he has raped her?
Well, I have a question that if a husband had sex with his wife without her wishes, is it considered as a rape? Are you asking the question from an Islamic point of view, or Indian point of view, or the American point of view? Every country has its own rules and regulations. Islam has its own rules and regulations. In Islam, when a man is married to a woman, then but natural, a husband cannot rape the wife. Generally. But natural, he should be considered. If he does force her when she's not willing, it may not be mustahab. So as far as the Islamic point of view is concerned, one is the Islamic point of view, one is the Indian point of view, one is the other government point of view. I am aware that in some countries, if a husband forces the wife against her wishes, it is considered as rape. There are some countries in the world which I don't consider to be right. Yes, if he does excessively, regularly, then you can say that he's not a good husband. But as far as the Islamic point of view is concerned, there's no question of it being considered as rape. But in the Islamic point of view, what we realize that a married, successful life is understanding between the husband and wife. Point of view asking that if a wife is not comfortable in one particular time or one particular night, she may not have the desire, and the husband forces, surely it won't be considered as rape. But a compassionate husband would realize that the wife may not be feeling well, she may not be in the mood. So it is his duty as a good husband that he should understand the situation and say, inshallah, we'll have next time. And the hadith that is there, in which Habib Prophet ﷺ said that if a wife makes the husband angry, then the angels, they curse the wife for the full night. The hadith. So there's a situation when a person came to me, there was a Muslim brother who had a married life for several years, and he said that my wife doesn't listen to me. Having sex is one of the aspects. She makes me angry, so surely she'll go to hell. So I said that I do agree with the hadith. And he quoted the hadith that if the wife doesn't keep the husband happy, then the angels curse the wife for the full night. I said, what do you realize that it's a two-way traffic? It's, as I quoted the verse of the Quran today, before I started the session, of Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 187, Hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahunna. That they are your garments and you are the garments. Your wife are your garments and you are the garments of the wife. It's not only one way. So both should understand each other well. I told that Muslim brother that see, the criteria to go to Jannah is that it is in your hands. So he's telling that my wife will surely go to hell. So I said, why? The hadith says that if the wife makes the husband angry, then the angels will curse the wife. You don't get angry, then why will the angels curse the wife? So for your wife, go to Jannah, it's in your hands. And if you do sabr, one of the criteria to go to Jannah is sabr. According to Surah Asr, chapter number 103, verse number 1 to 3, Wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr, illa allazina amanu, wa amilu salihati, wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. That by the token of time, man is very in a state of loss, except those who have faith, those who do righteous deeds, those who exhort people to truth, and those who exhort people to patience and perseverance. So one of the criteria to go to Jannah is sabr. So if you don't have sabr, you will go to hell, and you're putting your wife also in hell. So if you are a good husband, and you are compassionate, you do sabr, no problem. Maybe she's very tired, or she's not in the mood. It's once in a blue moon. So you do sabr, so you don't get angry. The angel will not curse her. Inshallah she'll go to Jannah. If you are doing sabr, you will go to Jannah. So you are paving the path of your way to Jannah and your wife's way to Jannah. If you get angry, then maybe the angels will curse your wife, and you are not doing sabr, so you will pay your way to hell. So it's a dual role. Husband and wife's role are like hand and glove. So the question of rape is not there at all in the Islamic picture, in some point of view. But the compassionate is there. Because the beloved Prophet ﷺ said that the best moment is the person who is the best to his family, especially the wife. So it is a give and take. It's not one-way traffic, what do you call it? Anyway, rape is not the case. But you should be considerate and you should be compassionate. Imagine if you are not in the mood and the wife falls, what will happen then? If today you are not in the mood, you are very tired, you come from office, wife says, let's enjoy. You say, so then. So she should have sabr. There's no hadith saying that if the wife is angry, the angel will curse the husband. Fine, that's there. But if you're not a good husband, then a wife will tell. Our beloved Prophet said that a person who is good to his family, he's not a good moment, not a good moment. The wife says, fine, the person did overtime in the office, he's come home late, I may have a desire, but you should realize that it is good to me. So it's a give and take. Normally people think it's a one-way traffic. I'm husband, so we are the boss. Therefore the Quran says in Surah Nisa chapter 4, verse number 34, that Ar-Rijalu Qawwamun 'ala Nisa. That the men are the qawwam of the women. Qawwam doesn't mean 1 degree of superiority, 1 degree of authority. It means 1 degree of additional responsibility. Because the verse continues that Allah has given more strength to the man as compared to the woman. So it is in supporting. It's not in 1 degree of bossing over the wife. Hope that answers the question. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Brother Zakir, Jazakallah, you've given beautiful talks on women's rights in Islam in English and Urdu, and you also have written a book. Do you plan in future to give a talk on men's rights and responsibilities in Islam? Because I feel it's equally important that we know about our rights and responsibilities. On the face of it, it only appears that women have got all the rights and men have got all the responsibilities.
I do agree with you. After people hearing my talk on women's right, many of the gents say, what about men's right? Because they see everything is one-sided. See, the reason why I gave a talk on women's right, because the women are being maligned. Gents in Islam, mashallah, they're on the top. Though it's not right, they're on the top superficially. So that's the reason we have the marriage preparatory course now for gents. Inshallah, in future, in my agenda, it is not on top priority because we have so many other lectures which I want to research and give because the media is against. If I give a talk on men, that it should be given, I'm not disagreeing with it. But whether the top on the agenda, not on my agenda, but there are other people, inshallah, will be giving. But that's a requirement, inshallah.